Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray. It's the first day of spring.
Spring has sprung.
Yes, it has.
But it's a little chilly on the side. Peggy Burton here.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
Good morning.
And we're post possible tornado that didn't happen.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Yes, it
amen.
did. Wreaked havoc in Alabama.
it did.
But,
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
not around here, fortunately.
Sid Wing put a hail piece the size of a softball. He had it.
Oh, yeah. They said it was coming down in there, knocking car windows out. And
Oh, yeah.
think about it. Something that big falling from 28,000 feet in the
And
air.
it could hit you in the head and
Kill
you'd be
you.
all over.
Would it kill you?
Sure. Goodness.
Dead.
Yeah.
Back when we had the
Doorknob
bad tornado
dead.
that tore up Rosie
Tornado.
Graham's house,
Yeah.
hail hit her. It broke her windshield. Think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
Well,
really
the one that
strong.
came through before that, Fran had her car parked at South Jackson. Nothing happened to these cars out here, and her windshield was broken all to pieces. And that just shows how much different it is, in 2 miles.
Sure.
It can hit right here and hit nothing.
Yeah, I don't take it lightly.
No,
I
heavens
spent
no.
a few minutes in my bathroom with my cat.
And we've talked about this many times, as we have a lot of things in our 25-year career. But
Sure.
But it's unusual, really, for a tornado to hit Tullahoma
Right.
in the city, but occasionally it does.
Yeah,
you know.
we kind of think we've
Well,
gotten by so good so far.
I still think that thing we had that went through, that did all that damage, I still think that was flatline winds, because I didn't see anything twisted anywhere.
I don't know, out toward
I don't-
my house, the area that
Yeah, but that's
always
not what I'm
gets it.
talking about. I'm talking about the one that went through Country Club,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
because that came through. That's in town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that comes around on the outskirts of Tullahoma, but
Right.
that's the only thing that's really come through here.
Right.
And but it's tough. Thousands and thousands of trees down, and we're just fortunate to be where we are.
Yeah, we are.
Well, we rode out a tornado under an overpass, and I read later that that's the worst place in the world to be because it can suck you right out. But somehow we survived it. Maybe it just didn't
It
hit in that
tickles me.
spot.
It tickles me, and I guess it makes sense. But I saw a comedian doing something about it the other day. He said, yeah, there's a tornado coming, worst storm in 100 years. All you kids get under that 10-pound desk that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
sitting. But I guess to keep falling debris from hitting them in the head, that's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
safer than you can't let them just run.
Right.
True.
You got to do something with them. So, but yeah, we're fortunate that just went on
I
by.
read where it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a football helmet, and if you
That's
you don't
true.
have it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
to protect your
Yeah.
head.
And last night Tabitha was sitting in here, and we were doing Tennessee Traveler, and she said she was looking around, and she said, "There's too many sharp things in here." And I said, "This is probably at the Markham building over here. This is probably one of the safest buildings you could be in Tullahoma. It was built as almost like a Quonset hut. It's got a round roof." There's no flat surface for wind to hit. The walls are concrete, poured in concrete.
Yeah.
It would take a bomb to blow this building down right
Yeah,
here.
as a matter of fact, and John will remember this, of course, because when we first moved here, we came over and looked at this building, and it used to be a factory.
That was a box plant.
And there was concern. Dan was talking about the stage that we're sitting on right now.
Right.
And it's a solid piece of concrete.
Concrete.
What do you think? 24 inches thick.
Oh no, this concrete right here, see, because there was another one over there they dug out. That was 4 feet deep.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, well, they had these huge machines
Yeah.
weighing
That had to be
hundreds of
supported.
tons sitting on top of this where they manufactured boxes.
Yeah, I know they were going to tear it out, and we
Well,
said
they tore
no.
that one out over there.
This is perfect.
This is
for
perfect for what we have.
Perfect for a
Yeah.
stage, and the thing about it is, right in front, it even has pipes going through it, conduit for electricity for the machine. So we had chaseways already built to get our wiring out here for
Which is
cameras
great,
and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, right.
My house is on a concrete slab, which I don't know if that's going to save me in any way, but
Well, it
I
certainly
debate-
won't rot
I
out.
debate.
It
Do I
won't
go
rot
to-
out
yeah.
from underneath you.
do I go to the bathroom that's interior and no windows, or is it better to go really to the lowest level, which is right
Full of
close,
windows.
ready to go under the house? I'm not going under the house.
No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't be doing that either. But
Because-
I thought you said it was on a slab.
Well, it is, but it's under the house. Well, maybe that doesn't make sense.
You can't go under a slab,
No, I know
so
that.
you won't be going under the house.
No, well, yeah, the house is up.
You're
part
going
of it is-
below the house. You're
people
not
go-
going underneath the
Yeah,
house.
well, there's, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't go under there, so who knows what's under there?
Well, yeah, who knows what's under
Who
there.
knows?
Tennessee lost both their basketball games, both girls and boys this weekend.
yeah, they did. They're both out. I guess all the Tennessee teams out. Murfreesboro, MTSU was in the NIT, and they lost yesterday, I think, so, or the day before yesterday. So all the Tennessee teams are out now.
That's too bad.
But University of Tennessee had a great run
they
this
did
year. I
great.
think
Oh, yeah.
they were 26-9, I think.
Yeah,
is their
yeah, they
overall
played some
record.
good basketball.
So, and this is the third year for their coach up there, and and their basketball coach. So probably better things are
That coach
coming.
had a hard act to follow, didn't
The basketball coach.
he? Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'm sure she's talking about
If you're talking
Oh,
about
I'm
the
talking
girl,
about the girls' basketball. Pat
absolutely,
Summitt,
Pat,
yeah. Yeah, no,
Pat
you can't
Summitt,
follow
yeah,
that.
Yeah, for goodness' sake.
That's undoable. Undoable. What we got coming up around here, folks? We've got Heaven Can
Heaven
Wait
Can
coming
Wait's
up
at the
at South
Civic
Jackson
Center.
Civic Center over at the
I
MAC.
think that's this weekend.
Over at the MAC, they've got the Dancing with the Stars is coming
Right?
up.
Is that Friday or Saturday? Anyway,
It's not this week, it's next week
but it's a big fundraiser for the
MAC over there.
Performing
Yeah.
Arts Center, and that's
And there's just all kinds of things happening around town.
That's at the
always,
conference
always
center,
is.
correct?
Yes, yes. But it's for the MAC.
for the MAC.
I noticed that there's all kinds of big construction equipment down at the Civic Center now, and I know you've reported on that before, but what is the progress of that?
Well, they've gone in and dug all the dirt out. There wasn't but about 50 parking spaces there, if that many.
That's
All
right.
that grass that people parked in the mud and walked through, all of that's been dug up, all down in front of by the side of the building, out by the road, and they're going to be, I think, probably 125, 140 parking spaces out there. They redone the front entrance
And the back entrance.
and the back entrance, but the front entrance had a long ramp that was not code appropriate, and stairs, and it was hard to get in. And they've gone and put a proper ramp in, a big wide set of stairs, and it's going to be part of that's going to be covered to where if you're waiting outside, you won't have to be standing in
is awesome.
inclement weather. And there's a turnaround being put in right now, where when you come in, you'll be able to drop people off and either go on around the building or go through that turnaround and go back out.
So this is really going to be nice.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Quite an
yeah, it's
improvement.
huge.
How many parking spaces do you think?
Well, there's going to be 130 or 40 out in the front, and then when they go around, when you go around the building, over to where the office is around there, there's been a new entrance put in over there with a ramp for loading in. See, everybody had to load into the building from the front door. And so now there's a loading ramp on the backside to where they can come in on the backside and not have to be in the way of everything going on to load in and out.
Oh, cool.
And then there'll be parking spaces down that side as well for the office and the people in the shows. I mean, sometimes like the country show, there'll be 40 cars out there for just people who are working the show, parking in the mud and in the
There's
grass.
going to be new lighting, correct?
New lighting.
I'm
They're
anxious
new
to
lighting
see
out in the
that.
parking lot, and then up and down lighting on the building, supposedly. Then the next phase will be to go inside, and along during this, there's some money's being spent on sound equipment and light, because it's not just lighting up the outside; it's lighting up the inside as well, and upgrading things.
So anybody that might have $300,000 or $400,000 that wants
Yeah.
to pour it into the Civic Center, we'd be glad to have it.
I just think it's phenomenal that building is still there and being utilized.
Well, there's a lot of
because,
people
you
wished
know,
it was gone, but Alice
Yeah.
Radcliffe almost single-handedly underwrote the saving of that place and
Green
funded,
Lights, too, yeah.
well, and a whole lot of volunteer people, but you've got to have somebody to be a spearhead to say, no, you're not going to tear this down. Well, No, you're not. Here's some money to keep. What do we need to do?
Yeah.
What do we
true,
need to
yeah.
do? Mr. Fire Marshal, a lot of it was fire marshal stuff and code stuff. And so,
You know, I'm
because
not sure that everybody realizes the importance of what happens at South Jackson. In my head, it keeps a lot of young people off the street, old people too.
Keeps you off the street, Peggy.
Yeah, but I think when you have something, if you're a depressed sort of person, I don't think I am, but if you are, you need an activity, and the arts, visual, performing, whatever, they help you to get through those times. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you be sad if you're singing a song or doing something?
well, and what's interesting to me, I know when Jimmy and P-Head Productions was, I was part of writing a grant with East Middle School to put a television studio over there years ago. And, you know, not everybody's an athlete, not everybody's a cheerleader, not everybody is in the band. You know, there's a group of people, we found out after we did this, there was a group of people that are tech people
Exactly.
that really didn't have a club or some place to go, and they gravitated to this. And that's a lot of people gravitate to the theater who are not involved in other things, and it's very important that we keep our stages open.
I think so, and I think the schools do a great job with music and chorus and theater, but there's still a lot of people that don't get a chance
No.
to do
No.
those sort of things. And
Because it's you know, I say South Jackson, the stage at South Jackson is where the sky is big enough for all the stars.
there you go.
Yeah.
You might write a song about that.
I did. I
You
did.
got it with you?
No, but this is Loku 144.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to read one.
No, not 145.
It's 145 to one he read
Yeah.
before we
Flowers bloom. Birds resume their morning serenade. The sun hangs longer in the afternoon sky. New grass springs up through winter's carpet, and the first cutting releases the pungent smell of green onions.
Very nice, John.
Yeah, it is. How true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be back after this message. R2, R3, R4. Attention Shoeistas, Bryn Shoe Boutique in Tullahoma is closing forever. Every item in the store is reduced for immediate sale. Brenda is offering huge discounts on her entire inventory of fashion women's shoes, designer handbags, and jewelry, featuring famous brands like Yellow Box, Nine West, Bandolero, Impo, Coach, Michael Kors, Joseph Rupkoff, and others. The sale is underway now through March 3rd. Hurry in for huge savings at Bryn Shoe Boutique, 115 Northwest Atlantic Street, Tullahoma. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday.
Time to get fit, Tullahoma. Register today to run or walk the I Am For The Child Family 5K Run and Walk. You'll be proud to know you're supporting the court-appointed special advocates by running or walking Saturday, April 14th at Fraser McEwen Park at 8 a.m. Register at active.com for $25 or the day of the race starting at 6:30 a.m. or call 455-7426. Special thanks to these sponsors who make this event happen. CASA's I Am For The Child event is Saturday, April 14th. Register now and join in the fun at Fraser McEwen Park.
The Animal Shelter has served Tullahoma dogs for nearly 30 years. Now, you can help us build a bigger and better no-kill shelter. Your tax-deductible gift is matched dollar for dollar, so come on, bark it forward and donate now to have your tax-deductible gift matched. Make your check payable to the COT Shelter Building Fund and go to tullahomatn.gov to see all the unique gifts available for your generosity. For more details, you can call City Hall at 455-2648.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rick.
And this is Pat Welch and John. We're here for segment 78
Hot dog.
of the
we're going
conversation
moving
with
right
John
along,
and Pat.
And we've got a good little story for you today, but this song has nothing to do with it. It's
Well, that'd be about par for the last 50 segments.
you know the guy. Well, I think who his name is a minute before I finish this song up. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going and I ain't coming back. Yes, I'm going and I ain't coming back. I'm going and I ain't coming back, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going where the climate suits my clothes. I'm going where the climate suits my clothes. I'm going down where the climate suits my clothes, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Yes, I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. And ain't gonna be treated this way. Did I miss a word there, Pat?
John, if you need to understand that there's a whole lot of ignorant music people such as me, that if you wouldn't snicker, nobody'd know what happened.
You know,
That's
Pat,
a good song.
And this is our 78th segment,
78th.
and you know we don't practice.
And we're normally better when we don't.
Yeah.
We've had our worst times have been when we've spent a half hour getting ready to go.
We're going to talk about a place today that used to be in Tullahoma, and some of the children still live here, and there's still children living of this family, but Rico's Pizza. It was a iconic type place in Tullahoma, and years ago, a fella named Eddie Rabbit wrote a song about Rico's Pizza Restaurant. And would you show Eddie Rabbit's picture? Some of you folks might have seen this gentleman. He was, I can't remember all his songs that he performed, but he was a great singer. But he did one called Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man. And supposedly this was about Rico's Pizza restaurant. And the restaurant was out on what street?
Davidson.
Davidson Street.
And we've had several discussions today.
Out where you might say Ferris's Mini Barns were, and then down
It's
that
past
street.
it. Yeah, it's behind it.
And
to the
down
side.
the street to
It's
Bruce's Automotive. and,
across the street from the business forums.
Squad 1.
Near Squad 1 in that area.
So it was really kind of off the beaten path. And I've been told.
There was a circle drive, I've been told, that led into it, and it was the only building or place of business on Davidson at that time. Now, there's 5 or 6 there now, but that was only one. And you mentioned that it was kind of dark. And,
I remember it being a lot of shadows,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
from street lights, from what, but it was just kind of a house, almost like in a neighborhood, and they made a nice restaurant out of it, which supported that family for many years. And the family members were Ray Jr., Teresa, Harry, Tony, Jeff, and the youngest was Lewis. And I got some of this information from Lewis because I knew where he was, and I was told that they served up some of the best pizza anywhere at that time. And I asked Lewis about the secret recipe. He said there was a secret recipe, and he said, "We can't let that out of the family." And
kind of like Kentucky Fried.
that's right. Well, as I understand, when Camp Forest opened up, Joe Rico came from Chicago to visit a buddy at Camp Forest, and then along later comes son Ray, and Ray, they all lay down roots here, and in 1949 or 50, somewhere in that neighborhood, they buy that house over there, and then soon becomes a pizza place. And it was from like 1950 through, I've got the down here somewhere, I won't be able to find it in my notes, 49, remodeled it in 67 because they had a fire there. And then Rico stayed in business till 1972 when Ray was diagnosed with cancer. But it was a real place. Read some of those lyrics from the Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man. Pat. Hey, you can find this on the internet. Anybody who can get on the internet, I can do it, so I suppose most
Well,
of
if
you
you
can.
YouTube Eddie Rabbit, Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man, it'll come right up.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. No problems at all. And I understand from the from some of the people that song by the ones who attend Eddie Rabbit concerts back in the day. Of course, he's passed away. That they asked for this song. They liked it so much. Go ahead and read those lyrics, Pat.
I'll do it. Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man takes a water dough and he plops it on the table, makes it flat and round and pours it in a ladle of tomato sauce, spreads it red, thick, and sweet. Takes a big fistful of mozzarella cheese, spreads it around with anchovies, green peppers and onions and mushrooms and a little ground beef. Then he puts it on the shelf and then shoves it in the oven with tender, loving care. He dances around while our tongues hang out and the smell of heaven fills the air. Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man, make me the juiciest pizza in the land. Hey, I'm no penny pincher, give me that big 16-incher. Whoa, make it go, Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man. Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man.
Ain't that something?
It's magnificent is what it is.
Philip, pull up that other picture of this is a rock and roll group that my brother played in. And second from the right is a fellow named Lee Garner. He's actually from Illinois, but he was lead guitar player for Eddie Rabbit. And he was the one that told me that the people who followed Eddie Rabbit that song was requested many times. My brother is fourth from the left. He's sitting in a chair. He's got a mustache, and long hair, or hat on, or something there. But he looks a little different today.
He's like me, John. He wishes he had that hair back.
That group was called The Man, and they played it over at MTSU. And Jimmy was in several bands. When one failed, he just, they renamed them another name. That boy, by the way, Lee Garner, he's retired and he lives in Illinois. And so, anyway, my brother stays in contact with him. But that is a story about the Tullahoma Pizza Man and about Rico's Pizza.
Now, we always find a way to normally work sports into just about every discussion. One of the Rico boys, was it Harry or Ray Jr., played for Coach Cooper in the mid-'60s.
That would have been Ray Jr., I bet.
Okay. I'm telling you what, he had been into pizza because he was a big boy, and he had calves that looked about the size of my waist. He was a really big guy. Yeah.
I understand, too, that Betty Rico, Ray's wife, she died in 2013, and they met at the Old East Stadium over there.
At Old Wade Field.
Old Wade Field.
Wow.
So a lot of history there, and it was good talking about. We want to say a big howdy to those children still of the Ricos, and hope we did a good job for you on telling about that. Teresa, Harry, Tony, Jeff, and Lewis, and Ray Jr. So
great story, and a great 78 segment, John. A great one.
Hot dog.
But that's not the last story we have. If management will let us continue, we'll be here. Thank y'all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck. Chevy, Ford, and Ram, man. Russell's got your truck. With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck.
Where can you find all four all-American truck brands all at one place? Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. If you still can't decide, give us a call. We'll line them up for you. Either way, my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do is think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. You're going to be glad you stayed around because we're going to talk about the great Celtic Festival that's coming up very soon. And I have on the set with me Crawford Parrish. Crawford, nice to have you.
Nice to.
And Denise Smith. You may have met her before from Celtic Cup, which keeps that place going. When is the event?
The event is April 7th at the Celtic Cup on the Green, and we've got a lot of great vendors and music and workshops for everybody to come out and enjoy the day.
And it opens at 8?
The opening ceremonies are at 9, but the vendors all open at 8.
Will be set up by 8 o'clock, and it's really interesting just to walk through the vendors.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing how many different things that they produce.
We have artists, woodworkers, jewelry makers, a lot of different types of arts and crafts, but everybody has to have something that's Celtic, so that it is a Celtic Music and Arts Festival.
And so you stick to the theme, and that is wonderful. How many pipers do you have?
This year we have at least 5. We're not sure if we're going to pick up a few extra coming out of Chattanooga. Justin Edwards is coming back up from there. He's part of that band.
That's wonderful. That always makes me feel like I'm in the right place. I love your outfit.
Thank you.
Crawford. Yeah, you really ought to stand up and let people see. Do you mind? I mean, you have the authentic everything. That
Pretty
is
much.
Awesome. And your clan.
This is a Lindsay tartan.
Okay.
Crawford is a part of the Lindsay clan. So.
And this is Smith tartan.
And the Smith tartan, it reminds me a little bit of the Tennessee tartan.
It's also very similar to the McLaurin tartan.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I know you wear it with a great deal of pride. Do you want to mention some of the activities that's going on?
Well, other than I'll come back to the music, but we have some great workshops as well. At 10 a.m. we have Andy Crusby out of Huntsville. He's an internationally known Bowron instructor. The Bowron is a Celtic drum,
right.
And he teaches a workshop. It's free to go upstairs and enjoy
so that's
that.
in the building.
That's upstairs at the Celtic
And
Cup.
by the way, if it rains, it's still going on.
Yes, it is.
Bring an umbrella.
And he's going to be teaching people about the Bowron, where the history of it, a little bit about the different types of Bowrons that are used. So we want everybody to come out and meet Andy.
Do you play the Bowron?
I do now because of Andy.
Yeah, I thought I saw you playing one night.
Yes, I got to do it for a whole year with him so far. As well as Gregory Sugg from Triquetra.
Yeah.
They're going to be performing again. Triquetra is Irish step dancers and comedy troupe.
They're wonderful, by the way.
At 9
Very
a.m.,
entertaining.
we're going to be doing our opening ceremonies with the a cappella singers.
Those are my little students.
Yes. And then the Secret Commonwealth will come on.
They're always
they love to
fun.
wake us up and get our day started.
Lots of energy.
Then Pay the Reckoning out of Chattanooga is coming up, a two-man band, and wonderful Celtic flute on that. After Pay the Reckoning, Triquetra comes to stage. They have an amazing performance. They're going to be doing a gypsy troupe type of performance. And then Black Market Haggis. And
I'm not sure I know. Tell me what.
Black Market Haggis, the joke with the name is that it's actually illegal to have haggis, which is a Scottish national dish, in the United States made the traditional way because it uses certain parts of the animal that are not FDA approved.
Okay.
So thus the name Black Market Haggis. And
that's cute.
but they're an awesome Celtic band and wonderful, highly skilled performers. And then out of Florida, our headliner this year is Matt Gilliosa.
Wonderful.
And we're really looking forward to them. They're going to be new for Piping on the Green this year.
And what time are they?
They start at 4.
At 4.
So.
And how late does this go?
About 6 p.m.
6 p.m. is usually when we have the closing ceremony. And between each band, there's a piper or dancer up on stage.
Something happening all day long,
yeah.
and of course the vendors are all there, and there's great food to be had inside the Celtic Cup. So.
And outside.
And outside. We have an outside
have an
tent
outside
with food
tent.
and beverage.
That's a good idea because there's so many people.
And what we do is we have our Celtic menu outside, but we also allow, if you're going to get some of our regular house foods inside, you can pick up the Celtic items inside as well, just to make it a little more convenient for folks. But we're going to have all kinds of things from the fish and chips and turkey legs to haggis this year. We're going to be serving haggis, tatties, and
Black
meats.
Market?
No, not this one. We actually make it right there at the Celtic
Cup. Make it right
there, and it's delicious.
I failed to say that Denise is the president of the Scottish Society, the Highland Rim Scottish Society, and Crawford is the vice president. How long have you been vice president?
4 years now?
I mean,
I think 4 years.
and you all do a wonderful job, by the way.
Thank you.
You're just to keep the momentum going, and I think that's so important. So this is the 6th year for the festival, and you have some wonderful sponsors. I think we need to always tell
Holiday
how
Inn
much
Express is putting up Matt Gilliosa, as well as sponsoring, and then Citizens Tri-County Bank is one of our top dollar sponsors, and of course the Celtic Cup. And Clan Cunningham through Randall Cunningham is also one of our top dollar sponsors each year.
And there's a lot of other sponsors that I guess are mentioned on your Facebook page. And
Facebook page and in the program.
In the program, they'll be
and we have a new
mentioned.
website as well.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
What is it? Anybody know?
I can look it up.
Well, look it up. We'll see.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
It's that new. We just don't even have it.
Will it be maybe Piping on the Green?
Yes,
or
it is something to that effect. And it'll
You'll
be on our
probably find
Facebook
it,
page as
yeah.
well. Desiree
It's
Porter.
Piping on the Green.
I know I've been there, and I just wasn't sure if that was exact. Desiree does a great
Yes, she
job.
does
We
a
need to
wonderful
give her
job.
some accolades.
Yes.
And you have a lot of workers that I know volunteer, and that's what makes anything a success of this nature. Because it takes a lot of planning.
It
I'm
does.
assuming the day the festival's over, you already have your radar going for next year.
Pretty much.
And is there anything you want to say to the public about if they're interested in being involved?
We'd love to have you join the Highland Rim Scottish Society. Come out for the event, Piping on the Green, April 7th. It's an all-day event. The parking's over at the Church of Christ, and we shuttle you over. Handicap parking's right there at the Celtic Cup.
Yeah, I think it's important to know about the parking at the Church of Christ. Very kind of them, by the way, to open up their parking lot for this event, and I usually park there. And then this little shuttle service you have for people that maybe can't walk.
Yes.
Although the hiking is good for you, it helps you stay in shape.
That's right.
Well, we don't have a lot of time left, but I would like to encourage everybody to get to the Celtic Cup April 7th.
And
come
we should
in
mention
early.
that we have door prizes all day long.
All day long. Wonderful. So what do you do to get a door prize?
Well, the vendors provide donate things. We have several things.
Like how do you
check
get
in
your,
at the Piping on the Green booth when you come in.
Do you get a little ticket or
Yes, you
something?
do.
Okay.
a number, and
then
we'll
there's
call
a
the numbers
drawing.
periodically
There's a drawing.
throughout the day.
So if you hang around all day, who knows what you might win? A round-trip ticket to Scotland would be good, wouldn't it?
Not
That'd be
yet.
a very
We're
nice
getting there.
prize.
I know, I love Scotland.
But we do have some wonderful donations by the vendors, as well as T-shirts and items from
lots of stuff for
Piping
sale.
on the Green.
So come prepared
a lot of
to
the
spend a little money, but it doesn't really cost you a thing to have this
And bring your lawn
wonderful
chair.
opportunity. Bringing a chair is a good idea.
Yep.
Something to sit on. Well, we've got to go. Crawford, so nice
Thank
to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Denise, thank you. We'll be back with who knows what.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and you know, Easter spring, Easter time of year is my favorite time of year. It's the time of rebirth of many things, of the plants and the flowers and the grasses and the allergies. But it's also in your faith life, in a lot of people's faith life, it's the time of rebirth. And several years ago, I wrote a piece called Two Pieces of Wood, which was a description of the crucifixion through the eyes of the cross. And as I looked at that, I decided, well, that's in the middle of the story. So I wrote 4 more pieces. There's 5 pieces, and it starts with Jesus coming into Bethlehem and then through the ascension. And I call it an Easter omnibus. I love the word omnibus. That is a collection of works. And so I presented this at First Christian Church 2 Sundays ago, and we got a film of it. So for my Easter gift to you, I will offer an Easter omnibus. An Easter omnibus by John Gray. Of burrow and boughs, 2 pieces of wood, the sound of salvation, the holes, and crown flames. Of bough and burrows. Lord Jesus journeyed toward Jerusalem. The time for his sacrifice had finally come. He humbly marched to no fanfare or drum. The burden he bore left his body numb. So weary from travel, he could hardly go. So he sent to Bethpage for a young burro. Christ crawled on its back, then slowly went on, as the word of his coming spread like the dawn. When he reached the city, a crowd lined the streets, waving palm branches, throwing boughs at his feet. They searched for a Messiah to save them from Rome. But he was the path to their heavenly home. Triumphant he entered. As the animal trod, triumphant he ascended to the right hand of God. Of burrow and boughs I spin this tale, about a heavenly gift that followed a trail set forth by the Father, whose will would be done to secure our salvation through his only Son, who came to Jerusalem to make good God's vow, riding a burro on a carpet of boughs. 2 pieces of wood, There was a man, a mystical man, who traveled an ancient land, and all he passed were altered by his words or the touch of his hand. The fishes he fed, the loaves of bread, the water turned into wine. On a mount he talked, on water he walked, gave sight to the blind. All who saw believed, but few really understood, until the world was changed forever by two pieces of wood. Two pieces of wood from the last great dogwood tree made a cross that held the Son of God on the skull of Calvary. The Savior who shouldered the sin of mankind, the essence of all things good, the Holy Trinity there for all to see, nailed to two pieces of wood. As a child, he taught the elders. The man soothed a horde the well. The tax collectors fled before him. The children loved the stories he tell. But Rome saw him a threat, so Pilate was given a choice. Put this prophet in his place or see all you hold dear destroyed. So he was tortured and put on a cross with a thief on each side. And when the crowd chose Barabbas, the Christ was crucified on two pieces of wood from the last great dogwood tree, a cross that held the Son of God on the skull of Calvary, the Savior who shouldered the sin of mankind, the essence of all things good, the Holy Trinity there for all to see, nailed to two pieces of wood. And the world was changed forever because of two pieces of wood. The sound of salvation. There were many sounds on the road to Calvary. The rustle of palm leaves beneath his sandal feet. The sounds of betrayal uttered in Gethsemane. The cheers of the crowd when they set Barabbas free. The sound of sobs and weeping from those lining the street as the weight of his cross, of the cross he bore, drove him to his knees. The sound of the hammer as they nailed him to the cross. The sound as he begged forgiveness for all that were lost. The sound of the storm God sent to end this deed. The sounds of fear. The sounds of desperation's pleas. The sound of loved ones' whispers as they walked him to the tomb. And the Christ they had loved and worshipped was sealed in a room. Between the sounds of prayers and tears, his voice found its way in. Above the grief and sorrow, they heard his words, I will rise again. So they went to the tomb on the third day and heard the sound of salvation in the silence of emptiness when the stone was rolled away. The holes. Two friends walked a country road. Emmaus was their goal. On the way, they discussed the stories they were told about the prophet Jesus, who died and rose for them. But lost in doubt and despair, they couldn't let him in. As they journeyed on, strangers joined their walk. They shared their doubts and fears, and he began to talk. Shared prophecies and scripture, proclaiming Christ was real. He changed their way of thinking, so they begged him to share a meal. Their eyes did not let them see that Jesus sat with them until they broke bread, bowed their heads, and prayed with him. Then their eyes were opened, as well as their hearts. They found a new journey. They got a brand new start when he said, can't you see the holes? Feel my hands, rub my feet. They claim my body stole, just believe and you can see. The one who hung upon the cross, as God's thunder rolled, alive again as was foretold. Can't you see the holes? Now go forth and tell your friends, Jesus Christ, the Savior, has returned again. The salvation promise here to cleanse your souls. You can see the proof on me. Can't you see the holes? All you need is to believe. Can't you see the holes? Crown of thorns. God's will be done by his one and only Son, offered as a Savior for all of us on earth. Concealed from speculation by a virgin birth. He learned, he taught, he preached, he walked, until the healing and all he passed was done. He tested those in power, sometimes won, sometimes lost. At the last he was tortured. Then he carried his own cross and crucified at the world's darkest hour. On the third day, triumphantly, he rose again. Then alive, he ascended and sat at God's right hand. So the journey ended that let us be reborn through the suffering of the one who wore a crown of thorns. One of my favorite movies is Bruce Almighty. Because if you really watch it and you really listen, there are so many lessons that can be learned. And so many things that actually happen in society are portrayed there. And so many times, we, instead of being the servant, throw up our wishes for our daily needs to God and expect God to serve us. It just doesn't happen. He's already given us what we need to serve ourselves. As we search for answers amid the craziness, the first instinct is to assign blame. You want to see a miracle? Be the miracle. Don't look above. The magic lies within. Thank you very much for entertaining me. Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back. One of my favorite guests, or two of my favorite guests, we have Taylor Miner and Jacob Swink and Mr. Tink. Mr. Tink is here looking for a home. How long have y'all had Tink?
I would say probably about 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks.
2 weeks. Where'd you find him?
He was a stray in town.
Oh, just roaming around, and it's so. And we think he's about 4 years old. And there's a phone number, and there's a place to go. And for people that don't know where the animal shelter is, where is it?
942 Maplewood Avenue.
942 Maplewood Avenue, and you can go there between the hours of
8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m.
8 a.m. and 4:30 to pick up a dog. And I'm assuming if you couldn't get there between those hours,
We can meet up.
you can call and somebody would meet you, because
And also Saturdays from 8 to 3.
from 8 till 3 on Saturday. So if you're working during the week, you can always get a good dog on Saturday. Now this little dog is obviously well trained and gentle.
Yes.
And is a house dog, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I wouldn't say eats a lot. Would be fairly inexpensive to feed this dog. And he seems like such a sweet little dog. So people out there, if you don't have an animal, they really change your life. Don't you
Oh,
think?
yeah, most definitely.
I mean, you can't be whining about a lot of things when you have something that doesn't talk back, and all you have to do is feed them and take care of them. Any new things we need to know about animals right now, coming into spring?
With all the rain, it's very important if you keep your dog outside that it's on dry land and not in the water.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes hard to do. You might have to move where you have the dog located to a higher ground.
Make sure you have, if you have them in a doghouse outside, they shouldn't just be outside. There should be a shelter for them outside. And I've always heard that it's better to have hay and stuff inside the shelter
It is.
than material, because material can get wet.
Right.
So obviously, if you love your animal, you should treat them, you should love your animal just like you love your children. And take care of them in the same way. He's got all his shots, correct?
Yes.
Been neutered.
No, but it comes with his adoption fee to get neutered.
That comes with the adoption. What is the adoption fee now?
$35.
$35, and he'll have everything that needs to be done will be done for that price. How much would you say this dog eats a day?
Maybe a cup.
Just and they sort of graze. Is that he
Yeah.
goes to his cup? And that's one thing I've noticed about small dogs. They just don't eat much.
Right.
And he looks perfectly healthy. But you have to always make sure they have plenty of fresh water.
Right.
I think some people make the mistake that just because it's water, it's okay, but that's not true. It needs to be clean water.
Yes.
Every day, I would say.
Yeah, because anything can fly in there or fall in there.
And in the hot weather, if the water gets rancid, I guess.
Yeah, it'll mold real bad around here.
Well, any big events coming up to raise money for the center?
We're still doing the bricks.
The bricks are for sale. And tell about the bricks.
The bricks are personalized. They cost $100 a piece.
Okay.
And you can get whatever you want written on the brick, and it'll go with the new shelter. So they're going to start the new shelter hopefully this spring or early summer.
I hope so.
So now's the time to get a brick before it's too late.
Well, if you want to buy a brick, just call the shelter.
Yes.
Or go by and drop off a check and tell them what you want on it. Where will the shelter actually be? It's going to be on the same area?
Yeah, same property.
And so will they take down the building you have and put up all new stuff? How does that work?
It's going to be kind of across the parking lot from the old building.
Okay.
And then we're going to still use the old
So
building.
the old building will just be extra space for other things?
Like quarantining dogs and stuff like that.
Do you get a lot of dogs that need to be quarantined?
Lately we have.
Lately? Does that mean they might be rabid and you have to
be
careful?
If a dog bites somebody, it legally has to be quarantined for 10 days.
Yeah. I knew that because my son got bit by a dog one time, and the dog didn't have a collar or anything, so we had no idea if it was, that's important. If you get bit by a dog, go to the doctor and get done what needs to be done. But most animals have their shots, at least if they're with
And there
a
hasn't been
legitimate
any
family.
cases of rabies in Coffee County in quite a long time.
Yeah.
But you still have to take precaution,
Sure.
and that's why we quarantine the dog, because if it does have rabies within 10 days, we'll know for sure.
Causes rabies. Do you know?
Getting bit by something that it just passes along.
You get like.
Yeah, it only passes through saliva, so like a
Okay.
dog scratching you or a cat scratching you, you can't get it.
You can't get it. So
It's just, it has to be a
be
bite.
by a bite. Actually, that's a good thing to know, but I just wondered where the disease comes from in the first place.
I don't know.
You know, wild animals somehow pass them along, and I'm not sure how they get the disease, but it is not a fun disease to have. I know you all have some events every year, like the dog swimming in the park.
Bark
you
in the
still
park.
do drool in the park and park.
No, we haven't been able to since they made that new
Since
pool.
the new place.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad,
It
because
is.
that was a fun thing for the animals.
Mhm.
I think they loved that. Every dog loves it. Tell me about you, Taylor. What makes you love the animal shelter so much?
Well, I mean, I always love dogs. I have actually 6 dogs myself
Do
at
you
home.
really? Are they big ones?
I have like an 80-pound Great Pyrenees at home.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, they're all my babies, and of course I go to the shelter and I'm surrounded by my shelter babies. So I just love dogs, animals in general.
Well, they picked a winner when they hired both of you, because I can tell you both have a love for what you do, and
yeah.
that's so important. How many dogs do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3, but you have 6.
Yeah,
That's
they're a handful.
hysterical. And do you keep them in the house?
Most of them, yeah. My Great Pyrenees, more of an outside dog than an inside dog, but I try to let all of them in whenever I can, but all of them at the same time is just
It's just a bit much.
overwhelming a little bit.
Does the Great Pyrenees stay at home, or does he like to wander?
When she gets out, she likes to wander.
Because I've
but-
noticed, I live out in the country, and
Mhm.
there's 2 that often come and they just hang out in the field out there.
Yeah.
And then they'll wander back home. I'm sure they go
Mhm.
home because they're very healthy looking dogs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I've been warned that you really, if people have those dogs to guard their animals,
Mhm.
they don't want you to make friends with them. They don't want you hugging and loving on their dogs, because their dogs have this job to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, our time is going pretty fast, and I want to just remind you there's at least 40 animals,
Yes.
40 dogs at the shelter looking for homes, and I think you can find any size, any shape, any make, or whatever you call it, any breed is what I'm looking for. And what's the longest dog you've had that hasn't found a home, that's lived there?
Well, we have one that is pretty much feral, and
Yeah.
he's been there about 3 years.
Oh, bless his heart.
But he loves other dogs, and he loves it there. He really
So
has a
he's
good
at
time.
home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's at home.
He just
Well, we are
doesn't
so
trust
blessed
people.
to have the animal shelter in our community, and if you have some old towels and pillows and blankets, please take them over to the animal shelter and take dog food. We've got to go. Thanks for coming. It's always good to see
Thank
both
you.
of you. Goodbye, Tink. We'll be back.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing. or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Why, good morning there. Thanks, John. Good to see everybody. You and TV land, we're glad that y'all are seeing us too. Thank you, camera ladies. Good to see y'all. Couldn't do it without y'all. And hello, Dot, and hello, Justine, and hello, all our good viewers and listeners that have said they like this segment of the show. We love to share it with you. Let me ask you to go back in time, not too far back, but about 1940. This time of year, in 1940, 60 years ago, the war clouds were rumbling, and it looked like that good old U.S. of A. might be involved in some wartime activities, and the authorities that powers that might be selected in their selections of training camps for Army and Navy and Air Force, selected Tullahoma to be a training ground for the Army because the terrain around here was much like that in Luxembourg and France and Germany. And of course, even before 1940, Tullahoma had always been a training ground for military people. Like in 1926, Governor Austin Peay established a National Guard training center in East Tullahoma, where the Tennessee National Guard came every Sunday every summer for a 2-week training from all over the state, and they trained at Camp Peay. Most of it was infantry, but even before that, from January of 1863 to July of 1863, General Braxton Bragg had some 25,000 troops in Tullahoma and Manchester and Sheville, having retreated from the Battle of Stones River in Murfreesboro. So Tullahoma and the surrounding area have been for many, many years the center of training activities for the armed forces. Now, back in 1940, it was determined that they were going to build a big Army training center in Tullahoma. That decision was made in September of 1940, and construction began in late October of 1940. And Governor Prentice Cooper named this Army training base Camp Forrest in honor of our great Southern Cavalry leader, General Nathan Bedford Forrest from Memphis, that was a great leader during that time of the Civil War. And rightly so, because he was such a great, great leader. And Tullahoma, a sleepy little town of 3,000 to 3,500 people in September of 1940, grew almost overnight to 15,000 to 20,000. The workers came in from all over the southeastern United States seeking jobs for the construction of the camp. They slept in cars, they slept in trucks, they slept in tents, they slept in attics, garages, barns, wherever they could find a place to rest their head. And to get a job, they had to belong to the Carpenters Union, whose headquarters was in the back of a grocery store on Wall Street in Tullahoma. And they'd go to sign up to get a job as a carpenter, and the union officials asked them, "Where are your tools?" And they said, "Well, don't they furnish tools out there where they're building?" They said, "No, you got to go get some tools." So Lawson's Hardware was just 2 doors from there, and those seeking membership in the union would go up to Lawson's and buy a hammer or a yardstick or a pound of nails or something related to construction, and go back down and they'd sign them up in the Carpenters Union. Well, all those construction workers and truck drivers and lumber people worked around the clock for months and months and months. That winter was one of the worst winters that was ever took place in this area. It was either mud one day or dust the next. It was just horrible. But they've got gravel to try to lay some roads out there where they could get to the construction site. And those big old international dump trucks got gravel from the quarry at Normandy and Lynchburg and Hillsborough. And again, they work around the clock to get that material down there. Well, the first troops moved in late February of 1941. The 181st and 191st Field Artillery moved in, and they were from Middle Tennessee. And then in March, the Illinois National Guard was federalized, the 33rd Division, and they moved in March of 1941, some 25,000 of them. And they went on maneuvers, and the picture that you see now is Gate 1. I made this picture in 1941, and it's straight now, I think. I hope. Can you see it? I hope you can. I was waiting. I delivered papers out there and delivered groceries out there, and I was waiting to get in the gate at that time. And while I was waiting, I stuck my little camera out the truck window and made this picture. It's the only picture I've ever seen of Gate 1. It's been used by hundreds of people, and it's put on a postcard, and that guard that you see in the picture happened to come by a few months ago and said, "You know that picture you made of the Gate 1 in 1941? I said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "I'm the guard that was standing there directing people in," and I had remembered his face, but I didn't know his name. And he was also head of the military police headquarters next to the City Hall up at the corner of Lincoln and Atlantic Street when camp was here. Nice fella. And people come every month or so to visit or show their grandchildren where Daddy served and Granddaddy served his basic training at Camp Parsons. A very interesting place. It existed from 1941 when it was built until 1946 when they raised it, and you can only see footings and foundations of some of the buildings out there now. But it was a great place, and we really enjoyed meeting a lot of nice people from all over the country. One lady came by a year or so ago and said, "Do you remember where the hospital was?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, my father was in the 168th Field Artillery from Colorado, and my mother was expecting me, and he brought her with him when they came to the Camp Forest, and I was the first baby born at the hospital there at Camp Forest." Very attractive lady. She said if they ever have a reunion or a gathering, I'd love to come and be part of it. But we made a lot of friends through the years, and it's been real fun. Would you believe that when Camp Forest was announced, there were 2 taxi cabs in Tullahoma and Manchester combined, and at the height of the camp there were 886 taxi cabs in Coffee County, and they stayed busy all the time. The troops got out on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock for a weekend and had to be back on the base by midnight Sunday night. And you can imagine when those special trains came in and brought them back, what a fight it was for a taxi cab. But it was a whole lot of fun, and you know, there was a patriotism and Americanism, a loyalty, and a cooperative effort because of wartime that we haven't seen since then. And everybody enjoyed it and cooperated for the war effort. And let me tell you, there's a whole lot more to come. This is not the end of the story, and I'll be looking forward to sharing some more with you. And until then, you have a good day.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maiden. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterware.
Yes, Roosterware is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterware specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterware.
come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com.
to find our handcrafted designs for
The Cock of the Walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Probably. All right, folks.
Is it time to go?
We're back. It's time to go. And a couple of shout outs here. I want to give a shout out to Wayne Grimes over at Pappy's. He wanted me to remind you that he is selling Easter hams, and they're $30. And I had one for Christmas. It's probably the best ham I've bought. A spiral, but it wasn't that little thin cut. It was cut thick. It's the best ham I've had.
And where is it?
I don't know. Over at Pappy's in Manchester. And he also wanted me to tell you that on Friday and Saturday nights now he's got New York strip steak on the bar. And Brand Shoes is still trying to get rid of some stock down there. Everything is 75% off. This is in the Avenues, downtown on Atlantic Street, next to Couches. And selected pairs of shoes are $10, and selected purses are $25. So, and she has some really, really nice stuff down there. So go by and see Bryn. And I want to say congratulations to Vicki and all the folks over at Senior Citizens. We went over there Saturday night. Mama Dot and Fran and I went over there Saturday night to the St. Patrick's Day dinner, and it was outstanding what they did. They have so much good things going on over there. So don't sit back and go, well, I don't want to go be with all those old people. Well, if you is one, go, because there's all kinds of stuff happening, and you can be a member at 50.
You don't have to be old.
No, you can be a member at 50.
I know, it's amazing.
And they just have great stuff going on down there. Have 3 full-size pool tables and all kinds of arts and crafts, and it's just a wonderful
And they
place.
have a ballroom dance class at 3
down
o'clock
there.
on Tuesday.
That's right. So go see them at Senior Citizens, and come back and see us next time. Go see our sponsors. Tell them thank you, because without them, or buy something. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
I want to say happy birthday to Bob Rhodes. He had a birthday yesterday.
Bob Rhodes, happy birthday,
Good
Bob.
man.
We're proud of you, buddy. We'll see you next time. Chase
Oh,
Clanton's
Chase
going to
is
end the
coming
show
up.
today.
Scott McLeod on the bass, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll tell Kevin he'll say